Uh, Good evening, leaders. Hey, leadership training, that's what we're going to do. That, in fact, is what I'm doing this year because company's 5 years old. It is well established. We are, in fact, in momentum. Uh, and I think the company even said it on their Monday call. The biggest week in the history of the company was the previous week. Actually, the biggest 2 previous weeks. And that's only going to escalate as we grow for the next 10 years. And as you leaders take the business across this country. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about tonight as part of the main subject is why, and ask the question, why are so many people, every once in a while you see people dropping out, and they will. And in every network marketing company that happens. But we do have less fallout here than most companies. And I think we're going to start having records put out on that. And I know that in our group, for when we were building, and in our group, we had one of the best retention and renewal rates in the entire company as a group. Okay. Now, there's a reason for that, and I want to share that. But I want to share how you get your people to do, because every once in a while when you're asked to do something and you're asked to limit it to 1 or 2 or 3 items, then it makes you concentrate and focus on what is really important, okay? And Chris Latin, it was taking a survey, kind of putting together, I think, a training or something, I really don't know, but Chris Latin, one of the seniors, one of the first silvers in our business in 7K, the Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and he's a silver, but he's progressing, he's steadily progressing. He will be a goal, he will be a presidential. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And he called me up and he said, Bob, just real quick, what are the top 3 IPAs? And I know all you leaders know what an IPA is. That's an income producing activity, because there's 2 acronyms that you really need to know in this business, and repeat and repeat and repeat. And that's SATs, that's skills, attitudes, and techniques, and IPAs, that's income producing activity. And he said, what's the top 3 income producing activities you do to build your business and you teach people to do? And I said, well, piquing new contacts interest is by far number 1. And that's number 1. And number 2 is follow up on number 1. Follow up, follow up, follow up. That is by far the second most critical thing you need to produce income, to build your business and produce income. Building your organization is producing income. And the third is to get each new member right started and familiarized with just what they have in their hand, what they enrolled in, and understand and plant vision in them that day, and a commitment. Now, I am going to focus on 2 things tonight, and real quick. And if you want to know the secret to how I built 3 organizations in a row, and I don't sell books, and I don't charge for my mentoring. This is it right here, these 7 pieces of paper right there, all 7 easily produced, easily given to anyone. But we're going to focus on one thing tonight. And this is the thing that I teach. And it doesn't matter if the new person has a job, full-time job. I'm enrolling a doctor, a full-time doctor, and his emergency nurse. I'll be enrolling them this week. I met him in Cancun. And one of the things that he was interested in our conversation, we just had casual conversation. And he asked me more questions than I told him information. And then I asked him probably more questions than he asked me. Now, I'm going to address that in a second here. But if you'll notice, I want every person that I sponsor, I want a commitment out of them of 5 to 10 hours a week for 2 years. And in fact, they're going to buy their coin every month. And I want that commitment, and you need to get that commitment day one you enroll them. And if they don't give you that commitment, you now have an idea how much time you should devote to that person when they're asking you a pot load of questions, because they should be getting those questions answered from their own boarding and them reading the FAQs on the website. And the people who aren't doing that are the ones that are going to ask you the most questions, and the first ones to go out of your business because they are your cripples, and you are providing that crutch by answering every one of their questions that they should be getting the answers from the training. And that's why number 2 is exposed to big. That's the peaking interest right there. I ask for 5 people a day, and I teach how that is done. In that exposing of 5 people a day is actually done in less than 15, 20 minutes. And if you take more time than that, you're doing it wrong. And I'll tell you that. Wayne did it perfectly. He goes out and he wants to know, well, what I did back in the 90s to get 70,000 people. I said, I contacted 30 people a day. And I followed up on him, followed up and followed up. And he did the same thing, except he did more. That means you go out and do it. And the PSI group are doing much more than that every day. The leaders in that, the ones that are progressing, ones that are advancing, they do much more than that. They're on the phone hours and hours and hours, but they don't spend 10 hours a week in it. They spend more than a full-time job. They spend that 60 and 70 hours a week at it. If you want to make more money, you got to go out for all-out massive action. Now, number 3 is the thing that I'd say that you need to do in that whole 2-year period. Now, these are to the people who are not big leaders, who haven't done network, who don't have the skills, attitudes, and techniques down yet. The people who have skills, attitudes, and techniques, they're going to blow and go. But they still need to do they're doing these same things. But they have already learned how to handle a lot of the rejection. They already know how to do 3 ways. They already know how to do team efforts. They already know how to handle a lot of objections with tools. But watching a video once a day is a very important thing, 5 days out of 7 for 2 years. And so if you really want to make a 6-figure income in 7K, and you can only do it part-time, and that's all you can do, I'm going to tell you, number 3 is one of your most important things to do it, because we got every bit of training you need to develop all the skills, attitudes, and techniques. And I've got enough videos out there. I've done all the basics. They're all there. And every bit of the comp plan is on video. And every part of the comp plan and every conceivable possibility is up there in terms of flush, not flush, what cycles, what doesn't cycle, what rolls over in points, what goes into loyalty, what doesn't go into loyalty. They're all on those latest short videos that I put up. And so I put them all together on the band, and I said it's the ABCs, and it's about 6 or 7 videos. There's a couple of more, but I just didn't put them in there. Those cover everything you need to know, and they give you everything you know about this comp plan until we add something else to it, until they add something else. And if they add new ranks, and they are, that isn't going to change anything. This is a stair-step rank program anyway, and that's all you have to do. You have to teach people to do what you just did. It's that simple. What you achieve, if you achieve associate, you teach 2 people to become an associate, one on your left, one on right. You become a copper, you teach people to become what you just did, one on your left, one on your right. If you become bronze, you just teach people what you just did. One of them on your left, one on your right, you're a silver. You teach people to become a silver, you just teach them what you just did, and you know how to do it because you did it, you achieved it. Now, that brings me to the part of the family business pack. And that family business pack, everybody's going to end up with one if they start with one or if they don't. They're going to end up with the one, and I've shown you all the possibilities of why you do it. But the main factor now, we want to build that top center now. We don't want to leverage until you got this business fully developed, because they're going to continue raising rank and raising income. So you don't want to detract from building your huge leg forever. Now, that means this goes to infinity. You get points on anything that comes up through that leg to your counter. And you do that for all you new people or people who hadn't really understood this yet. Understand these points flow up and combine. So at this center right here, everything coming up from this organization down and from this organization down combined here and go up to the left side here. Everything coming up from this whole organization on the right and this organization on the left here combined and flow up to the left side here. Same thing over here to the right. Then it combines and goes up to the right side here. And if there's nothing here, whatever is bought here goes to the left. Now, if you didn't catch that quick, your job is to understand that. And just watch the videos over and over until you really understand it. Okay. The key is, how long does it take you to duplicate? Now, if one side of your business takes off forever, that means you only have 50% to do on the other side. And you're making a $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,500 check or $7,000 check for the rest of your life. And it's just how long it takes you to get there. Is it going to take you 12 months to get 4,000 people in your organization? Or is it going to take you 12 years? Either way, you're big time winner, and you're building up residual income for life that you can only enhance your income. And so with that said, I'm gonna get down to why it's so important to teach these 7 pieces of paper. That's how we get greater retainership. If you can't keep your people in the business for a committed 2 years with the proper attitude, that is why you have fallout. And when you incur the thought that people are lacking off, that's your main follow-up as a support job, as a leader. And you can team up with the leaders and help them. You might help them out and teach them how to do that too, by taking little shots or little emails. Everyone, they may be well ahead of that. That's okay. That means they are doing that job. But you want to make sure that that is duplicated in your organization, because when they get to where they're mostly supporting, they're mostly teaching, they're mostly helping group and groom the next group of leaders in their lines, in their legs. And that's what I call, you'll hear me talk about it, leapfrogging. Well, that means what we're doing is we're leapfrogging through our organization. We may have sponsored certain people. They may be here, and somewhere down here in the organization, but that's your personal sponsors. And so for those of you on the PSI team, the bubble chart shows all your personals to the left and right, but that's not where they're placed. They're actually placed in this binary, somewhere down here on that left leg and that right leg. This is the right leg, this is the left leg. They go down here That's just the order in which people are placed in that organization. That's all that bubble chart is. Make that easy to understand. Other groups have used similar bubble charts, or we do it in hand just to make people understand. But the pay plan is strictly the left and right infinity binary on the teams. And that's what's really important. Now, the reason I'm going to come back to this picture here is, you know, if you caught all the right, these really top 300 companies, there are top 300 companies. The top 30 are the most significant in network marketing. And the top 30 have been around for more than 20 years. And a couple of them haven't. They're in the top 30 because they've made it and they're younger, but they're going to be around. But the opportunity is not the same. But the opportunity in 7K is the same for 10 generations in the future. Because see, our business truly is one that you're going to constantly be flushing at top volumes. So that makes that pay available for the future new generations as generations are born. This is the first time this is truly available in the network marketing world. None of the other multi-level marketing plans ever provide. I mean, they always talk about, you got the next generation. Well, that's true. But in the multi-level marketing plans, you don't have that same opportunity of availability. Everyone in the world always needs gold and silver. And as long as you're producing new, rare, and exclusive products, you have a unique product no one else in the world has. And as long as that scenario goes on, you got a perpetual residual income producing machine for generation after generation, even after it's open all around the world. Now, if you were at the right time before momentum in any of these companies, and you stuck with it and you just did the same things that I teach right here, you would have been a six-figure or more earner in those companies, because you would have learned the skills, attitudes, and techniques. You would have been able to change to another company, like many people have done in the past, and apply those skills, attitudes, and techniques at the right time with the right company at the right place and the right time. We just have the best model in the world that's ever been created. And it's our job to communicate, learn how to communicate that to others. And I hope videos like mine help you out in communicating that. One of the things I am going to try, and that's really the basis of the Family Big Impact, is work order instead of, but when you develop either my generation, my sons can then come in and finish out building, because on my left leg over here, for the first time, I never thought I would see it in my business, but I almost have $1 million in a leg. Because on my left leg, I have my original group where I had a bank leg until Wayne came in, and then we switched bank legs, and I showed Wayne that. I showed a lot of people that. My bank side became Wayne's side on my right side, where my wife's company, our company is here, and I had built the right leg, and we were building Pam's leg, and Wayne was placed under there, and that's what built out that leg with Wayne and his Team Corona, the Zerniaks and the Stelly family, and Wayne and his continuing leadership developing group that is continuing to grow and lead. Then I came back and worked on the left side, and helping George rank up and shore up my left team. And then we put in Brother Shane. Then we put in Hawaii, and Hawaii became a real strong element of my team, and then eventually flipped my tracking center again, where I got paid on all that volume that Wayne and his group and the rest of my group was putting up there. But we flipped it because we had Brother Shane too, that we added to the Hawaii group. That really flipped the thing. And I started developing bank on the left side again. And then from Brother Shane, meaning Professor Toto, and then we had another influencer come in, and then Phil Godlewski and the PSI team, and Andy Osick and Todd Collins and the Collins family came in, and they've just been blowing it out of the water, and they're continuing to blow it out of the water. And that's a great thing for all the people that they're introducing it to, all the people they're training, developing, and just like they are here. And so now I almost have $1 million in my bank account. I didn't think I'd ever see that, y'all. I want to let you know that. I didn't think I'd ever see that. I'll show you that in a second, okay? Because I know talk is one thing, and there's no harm in showing you my dashboard, okay? Now, the other thing is, this is the side I'm working on again. Now flip back, I'll work back on my right side because I've got to rank up. And so I'm just telling people what I'm doing and why. And so your long range plans, and you can see a bigger part of this business and what it will do for you in the future, especially if you've only been in for a year, 2 years, and maybe even just 3, because it was almost 3. I was almost in the business 3 years. Well, I was in the business 3 years when I sponsored Wayne Clark. Well, when I actually, my wife sponsored him. We placed, and she placed him on her lap. And so, but that's where you're doing the teamwork. And that's what's great. We had a choice of where we would sponsor and work with Wayne. And with that said, you know, I'm going to have to pull up because I'm going to just pre-position it. And that tells our levels that we're talking about. And everybody's real familiar with that. But what I want to do is get to the income disclosure so I can have that up on this screen before I tune out and end this recording. So I'm going to go straight to my dashboard. I want to illustrate what I'm talking to you and show you that, okay, this is my dashboard. What you're going to see is I almost have 1 million points on my left team. I didn't think I'd ever see that. I will have 1 million points pretty soon, okay? Because, and then am I going to have a $7,000 check again? Every week, I'm demonstrating, I get a $7,000 check because this week's not over, and we still got renewals, and we still got new business, but more importantly, we got the 26 coming up. It's still on Saturday. So you got 3,600 points coming up here. And so it continues making that $7,000 check every single week that it's been doing for well more, longer than a year. It only had one hiccup last year anyway, and mostly my fault, okay? But I'm going to have to put that screen back as I am my recording here tonight on this. The message I want to leave you with is this, is that we've only this company's only really just got started, and our biggest job is communicating to the people who have joined, and they are their biggest nemesis. They really don't believe in it. They start asking, well, that coin's not worth it. Hey, look, I want you to learn how to handle objections. And I've got 4 videos out on handling objections. But if you'll notice, I tell you, if you want to become an expert in handling objections, become an expert question asker. And especially with people who are forever their own doubting Thomas. We really have to earnestly confront them. What else are you doing in your life? What else are you doing in your life that even gives you a chance to do that? This happened. Use that Success magazine. This has happened so many times over and over and over, decades and decades and decades, with many of the right companies, and this is the right one. You are creating your business with $4.99. You're accumulating wealth. We now have the stack and sell site to verify what I used to really tell everybody. You're buying a product of value, it's going to gain value if you hold it. And now we have verification of that. And the fact that we do have exclusive, unique products, and people in the rest of the world want them because now we've opened up stack and sell. So it's learning how to just get a person to start believing that they can be successful in this industry if they learn the skills out and take. But they're going to have to learn. They're going to have to do Millionaires 101. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to get a PhD degree. They don't have to get a master. But they do need to learn the skills, attitudes, and that. They're simple and they're repetitive. And so because of that, that means they're duplicatable. And so if they will allow themselves 2 years to learn before complaining and moaning, then they can build a big business that will benefit their family and them for generations to come. And these are the 3 factors that are most important, is belief in the profession, what we're doing, our industry, belief in the business building system, the system we have, the 7K system, and the way that we teach to build 2 by 2. You get 2 and help them get 2 and help them get 2 and help them get 2 and keep building in that principle and that mode. You help people rank up. You get a business partner committed to you on your left and your right. And that's what you ultimately have to have. One real business partner is there through thick and thin and is a 7K lifer with you. And the belief that you can do it. And that's the key, the belief that you can do it. When they believe that they can do it too, and they've worked on their attitude, you will all be successful in this business, you and your entire team. Since I talked about incomes and the possibility of incomes, there are no guarantee of incomes, but please refer to the 7K income disclosure, because I love the fact of the average that our associates make. And I love the numbers that we put out and the numbers of people making that kind of income in 7K. So I hope you see what I see, and I'm going to take time to answer questions from everyone on a recording here tonight. Thank you for your time and attention. I wish you all the success in the world.